So today we need to talk about some recruiting because there's a massive battle going on right now for a top 10 player in the nation between two teams, and this guy, he could mean a great deal to each respective team's future. As the Texas Longhorns and the Oklahoma Sooners duke it out for top 10 player in the nation, Devon Campbell, and we need to break it down. But before we do, as always, y'all know the drill. I want to hear from you. Hop down to the comments. Give me a T for Texas, O for Oklahoma. Where do you think Devon Campbell goes? I can't wait to hear from you. If you are new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. Hit that bell notification. I do constant college football content. You don't want to miss any of it. And if you enjoy the content, like and comment down below. Those interactions, though they may seem small, they are massive to content creators such as myself and both getting picked up and maintained by the YouTube algorithm. But with all of that being said, let's hop right into this because I want to start off with a very macro point of view on this. And that's anytime we have these deep-seated rivalries such as Texas and Oklahoma being the top two teams for a recruit, you can bet I'm interested. But that level of intrigue is only multiplied when we're talking about a top 10 recruit in the nation, an interior offensive lineman. Devon Campbell from Arlington, Texas, standing 6'3", 310 pounds, is a prospect that every institution in the nation tried to get, ultimately the final two being Texas and Oklahoma. So you have that layer of intrigue that this is one of the top players in the nation, and he's an offensive lineman. Everything starts and ends in the trenches, a position group that both teams are going to look to bolster going into next year. So you have that. Then you have the other layer of intrigue in that these are deep-seated rivalries recruiting against each other. The Red River rivalry is one of the premier sports rivalries there is. It's one of the most exciting ones in my opinion, and maybe that's because I grew up in North Texas, right in the thick of it. But it is a fantastic rivalry, so there's another layer of intrigue. But the one that I think is also really interesting is we're talking about heavyweight recruiters as well. We're talking Kyle Flood for the Texas Longhorns, Bill Bedenbaugh for the Oklahoma Sooners, Bedenbaugh being one of the most highly regarded offensive line coaches in the nation. So everywhere you turn, there is just another layer of intrigue on this recruiting battle, and that is awesome to see. It makes it so much fun. But what does Devon Campbell give to each of these programs? Well, it's not every day you have an interior offensive lineman as highly regarded as Devon Campbell. I mean, this kid right here is a big deal to whoever ends up getting his commitment. For the Texas Longhorns, they've gone out and recruited the offensive line very well this year, and it was a major need. And that need for offensive line play and high-level offensive line play, mind you, is only magnified whenever you get in some of the transfers Texas has. Casey Thompson transfers to Nebraska, but in comes Quinn Ewers from Ohio State. In comes Isaiah Nayor from Wyoming. In comes Jaleel Billingsley from Alabama. Those weapons are fantastic, but those weapons are for naught if you do not have the means to protect them long enough for a play to develop. And that's something Texas has got to work on going forwards. But luckily for the Longhorns, you're sitting in a position where you've won the battle for five-star Kelvin Banks. The number 2 tackle in the nation, 5-star Kelvin Banks. You've won the battle for 4-star interior offensive lineman Nito Omazulo. You've won the battle for Malik Ogbo. You've won the battle for Cole Hudson, for Cameron Williams, for Connor Robertson. So the Longhorns right now are sitting in a position where they have 6 commitments for the offensive line in this class. That is a great place to be doing a building blocks type mindset with that talent in there. But now imagine you pair all that talent with Devon Campbell. Devon Campbell being an interior offensive lineman would be a massive win for the Longhorns as they try and pair him with 5-star offensive tackle Kelvin Banks, and not only pair him with a 5-star offensive tackle, but keep him home, because the state of Texas has lost so much talent over the past few years. Can they keep him home? The Longhorns did a phenomenal job keeping Kelvin Banks home, but now the question must be asked about Devon Campbell. The NIL dealings for the University of Texas may play a part in this. I mean, we'd be foolish to think that it wouldn't. It's something that must be talked about anytime we're talking about these recruiting battles, because this is the new era of recruiting. NIL is certainly going to be a part of it. On the opposite side of the aisle, though, the Oklahoma Sooners are also looking to bolster their offensive line, and they find themselves as the other team in this 2-team race for top 10 player in the nation, Devon Campbell. Now, Oklahoma has had success on offensive line recruiting, and Bill Bedenbaugh is Bill Bedenbaugh. I really don't think there's too much more that needs to be said about Bill Bedenbaugh. for my just die-hard fanatic college football fans, you know that name. You know who he is, regardless of whether you're an Oklahoma fan, whether you're a USC, Texas, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia. It doesn't matter. You know Bill Bedenbaugh. So they've had success on the trail. 4-star offensive tackle Jake Taylor, 4-star offensive tackle Jacob Sexton. And then they even double down on that success in the transfer portal with McCade Mature, a interior offensive lineman from Cal who could pay massive dividends this year. Interestingly enough, one of the guards for the Sooners has declared for the draft in Marquise Hayes. And so now the Sooners are looking at that position as a position of massive need. Devon Campbell playing guard, Devon Campbell being a top 10 player in the nation, very highly regarded, very talented, has an opportunity if he goes to the Sooners to compete for that guard spot. It is going to be a competition with Oklahoma bringing in a transfer and Oklahoma having talent on the roster, but it's going to be a competition pretty much wherever you go. And so because of that, it's going to be very interesting. Marquise Hayes goes to the draft. Bill Bedenbaugh already identifying a guy he likes in the transfer portal, but you can bet your bottom dollar he'd love to double up, get the guy out the transfer portal in McCade Mature, and then go and get Devon Campbell, because Devon Campbell would mean a great deal for the Sooners, and especially as the Sooners are looking at battles in 2023 for the quarterback position and for talent positions. The Sooners have never had a hard time recruiting offensive talent, and I certainly don't think that's going to start today. But you want to know what helps get in offensive talent? Top-ranked quarterbacks, and when those offensive playmakers look at the situation and say, yeah, there's a trench that can protect us long enough for me to be able to ball out. Devon Campbell offers you an opportunity at that. So it is something we have to watch. It is something we have to see going forward. So hop down to the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. That's it. See ya.